He loves that bass kick. It's cool. Nice dreamy vibe to it. Bless up. Big up Kyle and his Miguel. Alright, well, remind me when it looks like I'm about to go to a break to just unpause the song and not to just skip it, because that way by the time I get back I might hear some of that Pyramid song as well. Your mum's a pep talk. Right, so how many minutes are we in? 6 minutes, 10 seconds. My first your mum joke. Sweet. Good times. And check my vagina. What do you think?
Here's something fun. I was doing one of my routine head counts.
Oh, so this guy's a competitor, hey?
Completely unaccounted for. Probably kidnapped.
Ain't no competitor no more.
I run the psychological profile and GPS trace on every Londoner you've ever
Why are you shooting me? I didn't do anything to you. I killed your friend.
Track her down and she might lead you to your missing friend.
I mean, here's an adversary. What was I meant to do? Oh, hello. Oops, my bad. I'm sorry. Call my insurers. Ah, my insurers are Crash Bang Wallop. Want an insurance claim. This is a bad place to be. I'm just switching cars. I'm just switching cars. See you, nerds. And we make it look like we're going that way. We're not. We're going down here. And they'll never catch us now. Especially if I put that up. And now I'm just going to hide in plain sight. They'll never think this is me. And they said stop, so do it. Poor customers, a poor service, if you ask me. Yeah, but I didn't ask you. I don't do customer like customer opinion polls and shit. They're always real mean and personal. I've never listened to this song fully, but it came on your recommended after the weekend. Okay, fair. After the weekend, as in you were listening to The Weeknd, the artist, or just like Monday, it showed up on your thing. So, yeah, what missions we got? Because I'm pretty sure we crashed on a mission last time, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So we're going to fuck off those. Oh, it was this one, I think, wasn't it? Doesn't want to medically induce coma and make... Ah. Oh, no, they're back at the safe house, so that did actually work fine. So then we got Amish and Tegan. Alright, so I'll do these three. I'm fucking off the Thoroughfield missions, and then we'll do that. But yeah, I'll do, like, the side missions whilst they're actual side missions. Yeah. The artist, okay, cool. I've never really listened to The Weeknd. I don't know, like, the only song I've heard is that one that he did more recently, like the Blinded by the Lights one. But I've only heard that because it was on an advert between, halves when I was watching football. Because I watch football streams, it's the only time I actually see, like, proper adverts.
Hey,
most other shit I have ad
alright?
blocks and whatnot, so...
Things are bad. DedSec Toronto is gone.
Where'd they go?
Gone? What you mean, gone?
Gone. Like, done. The Mounties busted him for that
They got done by Mounties.
Bloody
They deserve
bad.
to be done then.
If we don't hustle and get Malik over here, there won't be a DedSec anywhere else.
If we don't hurry up and get Malik over here, there won't be a DedSec anywhere else. If we don't hurry up and get Malik over here, and get Malik over here, and get Malik over here, how much further over here can he go? I can't pull over any further! Motherfucker. Okay, we'll talk to her. She often has little missions. She got us a Stormzy mission. Maybe she'll get us, like, I don't know,
I've got a proper contract.
DJ
for you.
Luck mission. That'd be
I
pretty
don't
neat.
think I need to tell you that the housing in London's gone mental. Thousands of people living
It always
on the
has
street
been mental.
of perfectly good
London's
houses
fucking
doing
horrible for
nothing but
housing.
providing cover
You've only
for
just
criminals,
realised.
hiding their loot from taxes. That's some big talk.
I'm sure you know
got
Starboy
proof of this?
too.
Nothing that could put anyone behind bars.
The Trial of the
That's where
Track.
you come in.
I don't think I
Investigate some of
do.
these shell houses.
Maybe
Explore the tax
maybe it's one
fraud.
I'd like recognise, but I don't know the name of it at all.
You got this.
But he's never really been in like my wheelhouse of music. His music doesn't. It's not very conducive to allowing Lil Wayne on it. Like, I like my music to be able to have Lil Wayne interject in it at any moment. I need a yeah at any moment in a song. If you can't put Lil Wayne in your song doing a yeah, you've done your song wrong, you know? And I think that's why. Oh, Starboy was with Daft Punk. I do remember that. I remember checking it out, but I remember not being impressed and just stopping it before I'd heard the whole song. I don't think I was like proper in a listening mood. And I never came back to it. But it was during that moment where Daft Punk were just doing quite a lot of little different things that were not quite right. And thank you for the quote, Kyle. 1,482
Look
now.
at it
That's
this way.
nuts.
As long as you've got a device with internet access in your cardboard box, we could be flatmates. Anyway,
don't
if
have
you
a
want to play
cardboard box.
investigative journalist and do something, you can go to the pin I've put on
I
your
mean,
map.
actually, I do have some cardboard boxes, but they're being used. They're definitely not my friends. I'm just treating them like shit. Putting them in my outhouse.
You alright, friend?
I feel like a sack of shit after that coma, but I'm here, so that's something. I'd be rotting in the morgue if it wasn't for you lot. But
Yep.
we mustn't dwell on the morbid. Time to go out and pay it forward.
It's good for someone who just got out of a coma,
Amazing.
for sure. I dig it, but I've also been getting into a lot more stuff that I would consider mainstream pop
Seems
recently.
nice.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's probably why I avoided him. It was more like R&B pop, basically. Yeah, whereas I don't mind some pop, but I kind of like it to have like, I don't know. I like my pop to be either like quite chaotic pop still, or like
suits me real fine.
I don't know.
You wouldn't have been
Rare,
recruited
but
if DedSec thought you'd be killed
nowadays
that
it's
easily.
really hard to
Me
categorize
don't know
what
whether to
pop
thank
is.
you
You know,
or
like
slap your head back
so
in.
much music falls into
Don't
pop
mind
now,
that.
but then there's so much
Use
stuff
the
that you're like,
Get
is that
some
really
out of
fair
your
calling
scrapes.
pop?
You did
You
good.
know, like some artists really fucking push the boat out, but they're just labeled as pop, and you're like, yeah, it's popular music, but they're doing so much more. Like you got to give them respect, kind of thing. Just because it's a decent track doesn't mean it should be like just swept aside because it's pop. And you think The Weeknd still ends up chaotic? Okay, well maybe I should check him out a bit more then. I remember once one of my buddies was saying that had heard a rumour that he was Michael Jackson's son, but then I saw pictures of The Weeknd and was like, really? And then I heard The Weeknd and was like, really? Doesn't sound or look anything like him. Says an abandoned building, burns, and revenge mission. Oh yeah, our buddy's been kidnapped, right? We should go get our buddy back. Yeah, let's go get our friend. Oh sweet, they took him to the British Museum. If I was going to be kidnapped, I mean, I would be less upset about it if they kidnapped me and took me to the British Museum. That'd be more like just a fun day out. And if they're like, they're really good kidnappers and they like, you know, take me hostage so the building's closed down, we could look around the whole fucking museum by ourselves. That'd be crazy cool. So yeah, if there's any kidnappers out there that were contemplating it, could you at least take me to the British Museum, please? Because it has been a little while, and I would quite like to go again. It's a nice place, pretty cool. Lots of really neat stuff, you know.
The kidnapper is nearby. You can grab the location of our kidnapped operative from her optic.
Grab your optic, which is his eyes. Okay, I'm gonna move this bike out of the way, and I'm gonna move this car out of the way, and then I'm gonna park. Yeah, this is crazy. Also, do you want to know another reason why this game is... You right? What's happening for you? Why this game's bullshit? The fact you can get parking. There is no way, if you ever go to London, you can just park up on the side of the road, man. I have a blue badge and it's fucking hard enough to park up on the side of the roads. Hey, check my vagina. Oh, he's allergic to vaginas. My bad. I forgot. That was, that dodgeball game is up to play again. Oh, shit. Oh, Knockout City? It might have been in alpha because it's in beta now. Is it free to try? Like free to play again? Oh, I've got to do this. That wasn't even my fault. He walked in front of a car that was stationary. What did he expect? Hey, your boy's gone over there, dude. Go kill. Go kill. Watch this. Shame Britain has no history. Well, the funny thing about the British Museum is it does steal a lot. like there's oh hello, what are you about? Are you serious? I just dicked about and waited out here and you're actually just gonna come to me?
Equalizing
Hey! Emergent baby! Hey today, geezer.
Feed on our kidnapped
Wow.
operative.
That's great.
Send me that location.
That's amazing. I didn't even have to go in there. I just had to cause enough ruckus out here that she'd come out and check it. But yeah, the British Museum has I've often seen stuff where it's like say like, and this isn't a solid example, but just a rough example. Say like Egypt. I've seen bits where Egypt's like, can we have our shit back, please? And at the British Museum are just like, yeah. But a lot of it is also rented, I believe. So like, we'll have like Tutankhamun's head for like a month, and then his mother has him for like the other weekends and stuff. There's a bogman in there. I remember going there as a kid, and like with my school. I've been there a lot anyway, but like the first time I went was with my school, and there was a bogman in there, and he was a man that fell in a bog like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and he was like preserved and shit in the bog. It was sick. It was like, wow, damn dude. I bet you feel like like he must have felt like an absolute tit, being like, I can't believe I'm gonna die in this fucking bog, man. And then you know, he ends up being like a relic of history. The tit who fell into a bog and couldn't get back out. Who's ready? Who's ready? Inside. Wanna wait, 0.9. How far have you got on your rewatch, dude? That Fizzle McCoy wing is pretty disappointing. It doesn't even fly. That's the worst thing about that Fizzle McCoy wing.
Here. They've survived this long, so try not to get them killed in the home stretch.
Okay, they didn't say anything about getting myself killed though, so I can play this a little loose. Okay. Actually, let's do a little... Let's view. Let's see if we can find the nerd. Yeah, I assumed it was over here. I've been in this place a little bit now. Hey you, come check out this. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you can check it out too.
What happened here?
Both arrive at the same time though. Oh, that was close. Real close.
Come on, we don't
Hey, have a look at my vagina.
You can't be serious.
Yep. It's real. All natural.
I have better things to do.
Though I think they did a good job of tracking your animal history of animal cruelty. Very thorough coverage. If that even was a bit gruesome. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never even seen an animal before. Like, and you're on the Redrat episode. Nice. That one's too real though. That one's too real. Let's murder everybody in here. Steve's been getting higher on his nano supply and working slave labour for the mayor of Hounslow. $10 for all of that, or 10 quid. Why did I say dollars? You're too used to watching American shit. You're not allowed to shoot back. It's rude. Get him. Get him. Get her. Get them. Get Adam. Good. That poor thing's dead now because of you. It seems like everyone else in here is dead already as well, though. So let's go down and finish off this last nerd and get our lady out or a boy out. Whoever. Doop 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 doop. Boop. See, what's the point in putting like? Oh wait, I can't get through. I thought I could get through here. I was gonna say, what's the point in putting like? What the fuck just happened there? Of putting this here when like doesn't matter.
Sending location on a 10:33.
Hey friends.
Advised conditions.
Get her out.
Oh shit! It's the bare fist fighter, but just realised she's a gooner. She's a gooner fan. What do you mean she'll be lost? Come on! You may be hostage, but I'm running around in a pig mask, so you know we should be pretty even. Also, this is not the British Museum. This I was like, she's being kidnapped to the British Museum, but she wasn't actually British. Wasn't actually at the British Museum. The kidnapper herself was at the British Museum having a day out, apparently. Our poor person was chucked underneath the IMAX, not even like at the IMAX, so they could see some cool stuff. Like the Wonders of the Sea or something. They always have something that's like the Wonders of the Sea or lions throughout the week. Yeah. Come on, you dirty gooner. Come on, it's just a ladder. I haven't sauteed it. Come on now, just walk across this busy road. It's just a roundabout, so everyone knows how to drive on it properly. It's fine. Hurry up. Good. Come on. Hurry up. Walk into the road. Why are you crouching?
Looks like you avoided them. Our friend is back in fighting shape.
And how are you
our
doing?
enemy at DedSec has been thwarted. Nicely done.
No.
What's wrong, buddy?
Have a blessed life.
You too. Who just said had a blessed life? This posh homeless dude?
I'm leaving.
Yep. You're not leaving. You're not going anywhere. Get in that trash. He can't get away. Okay, so we did that. Let's go do Nout's request, because we don't have to do Nout. Fuck those new missions, because they just go on forever, as we now know. Play that funky music, busker girl. Who the fuck just called me a fascist? That's not the lyrics.
We don't need you here.
We do need that man here. Look at his dope jumper. I see you, buddy. You're good, you're good. That's a nice jumper. Have a look at my vagina. Get out of the way. Okay.
Auto drive now enabled.
Fuck off, it's not your turn. Just give way, bitch. Do you see traffic lights? Give way. Man, these drivers, you know, they don't know shit from urine. Okay. Van being a for innocence. I mean, I'm pretty sure she was a Millwall fan. Although it's weird with like there being any beef with Millwall. It's not even like West Ham and Millwall have even played in the same league for like the vast majority of their time now. I'd say our bigger beef is more Tottenham and Chelsea nowadays, for real. Especially this season. Any other season there's like a location beef, but no real like table beef. This year the table beef's going hard. And table beefs are the best beef, you know. This is a tune as well, by the way.
Auto drive
I think
now
Fred
disabled.
Durst did this one just before Limp Bizkit, you know, kind of stopped making a lot more music. This is what made Wes Borland quit Limp Bizkit. I don't know why I still remember Limp Bizkit's lead singer and guitarist's name. I did used to love Limp Bizkit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, back in the day, they were hot shit. Hot tamales. Not had a tamale, but up here they're hot. You love table beef? It's good, right? It is the best beef. Derby beef is too stressful? Yeah, for real. Like, I would not go. My brother's been to a West Ham Tottenham match, and he went with his disabled wife in a wheelchair, and they sat in the crowd behind the goals where it was like the roughest place, and at Upton Park when it was still there. She said she would never go to a Tottenham match again, like a Tottenham West Ham match again. I would never go full stop. It would just be too intense, yeah. Too much actual chance of like have their fights breaking out. It's like I don't mind a bit of rivalry. It's fun having like the local rivalries, but if there's potential for like actual violence, then nah, just we'll move on past that. We'll jog on. Okay, you got this, little Spidey Roo. I really enjoy watching derby matches on TV. Like, the actual match itself is usually a lot bigger. Like, derby matches can be a really great football match to watch. I just wouldn't want to go see it in person because, yeah. I personally don't like going to events where there's a chance of me getting beaten up. I know some people enjoy that shit, but...
Some interesting documents in the network
that
logs.
ain't me.
Seems this building was recently acquired by a shell company called Grantha Inc.
I'm a dreamer, man.
Why is that interesting?
Oh, no, don't fall off the
Grantha
roof.
Inc. is listed
Get on
right
that.
now under the heading, fucking hanging bad call that I'm not chuffed about, innit? I'm paraphrasing.
Fuck you,
slightly.
Bagley.
Snap
Fuck
a
you.
photograph of the building so we have something to show now.
Even on TV at home, you like the derby, but it's too tense too. Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, I suppose it's probably worse for you as well because well, fuck it, we might as well. Oh wait, do I have to photograph that building? Shit. Because when you play Man United, it generally is a game that is probably like it's an important match for both of you because you're actually both, you know, competing somewhat on the same like space in the table. Whereas like again, West Ham, Tottenham, Chelsea, like West Ham are usually way below Tottenham and Chelsea. This year it's been very different, so it's been cool. But the fans haven't been in the stadium as well, so it's been a lot of fun watching the matches, knowing that there's like no beef. Like the match that West Ham drew 3-3 with Tottenham when we were like 3-0 down in like the 80th minute or some bollocks. Fucking amazing match. Such a good last 10 minutes. Like that Lanzini goal, oh my god. Like one of the like, you know, the moments I'll always remember, like kind of thing. But I know if the fans were in the stadium, there's no chance we would have come back on that. Because the fans would have just been ripping the shit out of our own team. They would have got so aggressive so quick that it's just, yeah, it's not as worth it. I'm hoping though that a lot of fans realise that we've done really well with no fans in the stadium, which personally I think says a lot. Like our fans are intimidating. If we're doing well, our fans are amazing. But if we're doing bad, our fans turn sour. Like so quick. I need to get a drone, don't I, to get a picture of this? That's bullshit. There was a way to get the phone up, I swear. I'm sure I saw on, like, something. There must be. What does that... I suppose... Oh, wait, actually, I'm not in a restricted area. I could just change to the drone? Can I... No, I can't summon a news drone, can I? It's different what I'm thinking of. Yeah, shit. Toby from although the race between us and Liverpool at the end of the season 4 last was too tense. Yeah, at least this season, Liverpool are not title contenders at all. It's the only reason why I'm doing well because the Barca's fans aren't there causing trouble. I genuinely think that is a big part of it. I really do. Fans are amazing, but they actively hurt our team. Yeah. We have an incredibly loyal fan base. It's just with loyalty also comes horrifying passion at times. Oi, oi.
Bitch better have my money.
What did I... Oh, was that a quick thing? And I need baby! How you doing, dude? Worst fans in the league you've heard? Pfft, pfft. Everton fans were just fans that weren't allowed into Anfield. So they had to go there. Yeah. That's what I heard. I read it in the Bibleography. I can't get a phone up. That does that. I swear nothing gets the phone up. Do I just have to go find a news drone? Because that's thoroughly annoying. There must be a quicker way. But none of my buttons allow it. So maybe there mustn't be a way. I only found out a few weeks ago that East Ham is actually a place. It is for real, yeah. I genuinely don't know if they have a team. They probably have like at least a Sunday league team type thing, but I don't... They definitely don't have a team in any actual like definitive league, but they might have some sort of team there. Non-existent City fans. There's plenty of us in Manchester. Yeah, that's it. It's because... Is the stadium like more south or anything? I'm going to have to change to somebody so I can get a news drone. That's cargo. Escargot. Drones. Oh, shock drone. I haven't tried to shock drone yet. That could be fun. Okay, she's the news drone one. Alright, we'll switch to her. Then we'll just go take a picture of that building. Okay. I've only seen red football shirts in Manchester, but that could be all the blood. That's true. That's true. The stadium is more east, although it used to be just south of the city centre. Loads of fans miles south, though, in Stockport, etc. Fair. Oh, yeah, I suppose, yeah, because you used to, you used to literally just be on top of houses, basically, weren't you? Glad I got to hear the end of that overture. It was beautiful.
This is some powerful stuff.
I'm powerful. And I'm stuff.
Targets are in view.
Alright, put a little flash on it first.
Done. Let's post this on our
Oh,
channel.
I got hit by a car!
Consider it
You
done.
son of a bitch! Go murder innocents now, you bastard. Because you hurt an innocent? Mission complete. Get the bastard car away. Royal treatment, hey?
Dead sec. Any updates on the empty houses?
All the
Bagley
empty
says you're
houses.
looking into Grantha Inc.
Yeah, that's right.
The stadium was like
From
an
what I
estate, yeah,
found,
right?
Grant,
I've
it's
seen
all
like
about
pictures of it and stuff, and it
72%.
literally was like
Plus twat of the
not
company.
even like a wide single lane road. It was just like typical narrow roads that you'd go down for like dual rows of houses in England. Like, you know, not anywhere near as wide as this road, and then just a big fuck off stadium there, houses everywhere else.
Thank you.
Yeah, Old Trafford is near town. I remember I went to the Trafford Centre once, like, when this my old man was getting married years and years ago, like, we had to go there to, like, get suits and shit. And yeah, I remember we actually, like, drove past, like, Old Trafford and shit, because it was close enough to, like, the Trafford Centre. Sounds like Goodison. What was that the same? I mean, to be fair, like, Upton Park, the bowling, that wasn't any different, really. That was on Green Street, which, literally was just rows of houses and like smaller shops, more like little cafes and shit. But at least that one kind of had a wider road, although that road was just dead. Like you couldn't drive around the stadium on like on those days at all. I think I still need them to tell me where.
Now disabled.
Locate the abandoned mansions. What, just randomly? Do I not get them put on my radar? How do I locate them? Just locate them. In London. Just find 3 abandoned buildings in London. There are so many abandoned buildings in London. And I'm more afraid to go in those than the ones with people in. Crackheads, you know what I'm saying. So they must locate Toussaint's vacant mansion in order to gather the evidence of Toussaint's theft and government funds. Into just empty properties being targeted by homeless protests are a good indication that it could be belong to Toussaint. Investigate the house has been protest west of Warren Street Station, Horse Ferry Road and St James's Park Station, and south of the Abbey. Alright, let's go Westminster Abbey first then. Let's see if we can find that one, because we're quite close to the Abbey. Like around here. Nope, that's Trafalgar Square, I'm being an idiot. Here's the Abbey. So south of the Abbey, it's like here. So if we put a marker there and go to Horseferry Road, because they said it'd be near Horseferry Road as well. Yeah, yeah. Buried in Rosa Terracehausen, nice. Have Everton had any more movement on their new stadium being approved? That like Riverside one? Because to be fair, the like the concept mock-ups I saw of it looked really fucking nice. It looked like a really cool stadium. Like really nice views and shit as well. You will have drove down my road if you went from Old Trafford to Trafford Centre. Oh really? Oh fucking A. So me and Mojo passed like ships in the night probably at one point. That's crazy. Yeah. Mojo has his own road. Yeah, man, yeah. It's pretty cheap in Manchester. It's like Wales. Actually, I have... you have all roads. Oh shit, they come with the monarchy. Damn, okay. It's slowly going through. Cool. Now, I wanted to look at my mission. But yeah, it'd be cool to see, man. Not that I'll ever go to the stadium, but the stadium just looked pretty cool. So, investigators' house being processed. West of Warren Street, between Horseferry Road and St. James's Station, and south of Westminster Abbey. So, where is St. James's Station? Would that be near the park? Yeah. So, it's like one there, one here. Let's follow this for now. Oh, no, you. Yeah, thanks. You're finished with your shift. I can have your bike. That's lovely. Nice and slow, and I can see around these, yeah. You remember driving down there past all the idle docks thinking there should be something there with being so close to the city before they announced it. Right. Maybe they read your mind. Did you think about that? You always find it weird how close Goodison and Anfield are. Are they super close? I know, like, geographically, obviously, Everton and Liverpool aren't that far from each other at all, but... yeah, I never realised, like, Anfield and Goodison were, like, super close. It's because Anfield used to be Everton's ground. Wait, really? I had no idea. Some Scottish clubs even closer, but you can't remember which. I had no idea that. So, like, what did Everton use Anfield before Liverpool, or was it just like they sort of shared it, kind of thing? I'm not seeing any homelessness protesters. And I've driven station to station. So maybe they were down like that back road. Get fucked. Ooh, close. Opposite sides of Stanley Park. Oh, really? It's like a field between Goodison and Anfield. Damn, I didn't realise that. That must be crazy for game days, like just for traffic and shit. Everton founded first, so Everton were Liverpool. Fuck. Had a disagreement with the landlord. Really, Liverpool FC created because they were stuck with a ground without a team. Wow, so Liverpool were made out of necessity, basically. That's nuts. And now they're better than Everton. Well, I'm not seeing any homelessness protesters at all. Maybe they only protest in a day? Could you get out of my way? Wow. Man, humans. Learn to go in the right lanes. Yeah. I'm seeing no protesters. Hey, and FF Fly Gaming. Thank you very much for the follow there, buddy. How are you doing? Welcome. Oh, Stream Raiders is ready? That's cool. I have no fucking idea where we're going on this, so... If Liverpool clubs are like, mate, no, they probably don't play home games on the same day, probably for traffic beef reasons. That's actually a good shout, yeah. They don't play on the same day, but more for traffic reasons. Okay, yeah, because it'd be ridiculous. Trying to, like, one football game is, like, crazy on like, an area when it comes to shit like that. I couldn't imagine, like, that many. Alright, so, Killing Field, 11 of us. Oh, there's some there, yeah. Let's try and get as many as we can. Let's do this. Although it is a bit worse these days, there isn't much beef. Yeah, again, it's not like table beef, is it? It's location. Hey, Fly Gaming, how you doing there again, buddy? And put your shoes wherever you want, as long as they aren't on your feet. You can put them on your like shoulders, or your hands, or bookshelf, fridge. Yeah. But I'm doing splendid, cheers, dude. But did I say English there? I'm doing splendid cheers, dude. Yeah. Fuck your couch, fizzle. And Ironing gets a reward. Nice. Okay, so we're going to carry on the bottom route to try and get this like green chest, because I believe that's a good one. Going in that mud. You motherfucker. Okay. So I need to put Templars and Flying Rogues down. Where's my Flying Rogues? I must have gone past them already. Oh yeah, it's this one. Fly. Okay, get your troops down, guys, and let's get back to the game. Okay. But Fly, have you played this before? Or is it like first time viewing? Oh, there's text files and shit here? Oh. So, they said there was a homeless place south of the Abbey, so... Let's go down this way, but we'll go down straight rather than take that corner. I'm just trying to find homeless protesters, or people protesting for homeless. One of those combinations. I want to say more south of it. It said south, so I don't want to like start veering to like southeast or anything. Oh! Protesters.
There's another protest by that empty building. Let's look into it. We still need to find a link to Toussaint.
Access to CTOS network. Okay, cool. I should probably switch characters, right? Or what's this about? Go home. Ow. Alright, I'm gonna switch one of my gun people so they can shoot. Alright. Good old Brandon. You play a lot? Nice, okay, cool. Yeah, I was trying to find the empty mansions, but they're not actually located. You have to, like, find them. It's crazy. Yeah, I should get, cargo drone. There's probably one nearby. Oh, there is on the map, actually. Let's see if there's anything we can do in here anyway. Or do we have to fly? Yeah, we have to fly. Okay. So, we can get a cargo drone from around the corner here. Hopefully. As long as it's not on the roof. There we go. Your sister's cousin, dad... Your sisters... Hang on, I think I missed stuff before that. Yeah, I know very, very few Manc families that have both City and United fans in the immediate family. Maybe cousin stuff. Your sister, cousins on your dad's side, and uncle on your mum's side are all City fans. Your nephews are two... whether they like it or not. Your nephews are two... Whether they like it or not. Oh, your nephews are at, like, 2. They are as well, kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know why that took me so long to understand. My brain is not in a good state. I blame the economy. Wow. This drone might have some problems, but calling it mental is not a way to solve them. Hey, you getting shot in the head. Boop. Yeah. Fly. Fucking economy, right. Okay.
This place isn't
And I'm playing on PC.
but rather a different, equally vague and sinister Shell Corporation.
Yeah, I'm
in
on
the British Virgin Islands.
PC, and I'm playing it on the highest settings, but I don't have like RTX card or anything like that. So we're playing it like the highest I can. I have to photograph again. Oh, fuck me! I should have just stuck with that woman. Oh, that's the point. Fly, do you know if there's any way I can just pull out my phone to take pictures, or do I have to like literally get a news drone every time? Oh, you. No, that's not actually what I wanted. Are you a news drone? No, you're a delivery drone. You're a counter-terrorism drone. I should get lower, then I can see drones easier. What are you? You're delivery. Delivery. Oh, you might be a news one. No, Bloom. Can Bloom do it? Does Bloom have? No. Oh, what are you do? What are you, a news drone? Come back. Shit. It's good. You're looking for people to play it online. Fair. Yeah, I haven't tried online. Like, I'm obviously doing like the story at the moment. But once I've finished that, I might try online. Is it like do you do co-op missions or is it just like PvP type shit? Oh, okay, so go to your gadgets, right? Let me take the long way around to my gadgets. And there's a photo mode, like in here or in here. In here, I'm guessing actually. Oh my god, F2. Fuck me. Okay. My F2 button is a little broken. Hang on. God damn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, god damn. The amount of times in this game I've actually done, I've actually, like, just gone away to try and find, like, a drone type thing. Did that not count? No? Uh-uh. Maybe I need to have it more in the focus? Maybe I just didn't wait for it to upload properly. There's a single and... Oh, and co-op missions. Okay, sweet. Spider bots for PvP. Oh my good god. Wait, so the camera doesn't count for that? So I do still actually need... I do actually need the news drone still. That was a pretty good shot. Oh, hello. Oh, goddamn CTS button again. Chase drone. Parcel drone. Before I learned about the quick travel and drove everywhere. Oh my god, yeah, man. I found that out pretty early, thankfully. Otherwise, that'd have been savage. Although I've enjoyed driving around the streets as well, just because, like, especially early in the game, I wanted to see how, like, accurate the streets were and if certain streets led to, like, actual real-life streets. Hey, here we go. So it depends on the mission. Fair enough. So I guess it's always worth trying. I guess it's always worth trying so you don't have to go get this, but it won't always work. Okay.
Got it. I'm uploading the photo to our channel as well, so that Toussaint may see it.
It's a long shot. But it might
Okay,
be enough to
right,
draw
so...
out Toussaint.
Toussaint or not Toussaint? That probably is not a question. So, let's actually just check. So we are south of Westminster Abbey, right? I think that one should still count as south. Oh, that could be the one between St. James's and Horseferry, actually. So there might still be one further down this one, just south of Westminster Abbey. Because there was, yeah, I think we've done the one between Horseferry Road and St. James's Park. So we still need to do one of west of Warren Street and south of Westminster.
We can make our move. Good thinking,
So,
Bagley.
Actually, I just thought you might appreciate your composition, but you're right. Good plan.
Yeah, this is the only mission where it doesn't just be like, here they are. That guy just drove into a wall. But right, let's see if I can see protesters from up here anywhere. At least that particular house was like kitted out of barriers and shit as well by the looks of it, so hopefully that's something to keep an eye out for. And I don't think I'm too high that it will like just not show it because of LODs. Squeak past. This place looks fairly abandoned, hey. Let's get back to the actual street. We're literally at the Abbey now. Any protests? Anybody? What are you doing? You're a groundskeeper. That makes sense. By the ground. You can go for it. I probably won't get around to the online for quite a while anyway. Like, there's a few games I will probably play after this, but if you can find me on Ubisoft, my name is just Fizzle McCoy, so go for it. I'm being detected. They're not doing anything. Did I just see someone with a vocoder? That's right, I'm Batman. Why can't this just tell me where it is? It'd make my life so much easier. I know Google could easily tell me, but... Okay, so... Maybe when they say south of it, they mean like over here, potentially? Let's go. But enjoying this game. Like, did you play much of Watch Dogs 1 or 2? Because I didn't play, like, I played very little of Watch Dogs 1, I just couldn't get into it. But Watch Dogs 2 I really enjoyed. Oh, shit, my bad. And although I like the idea of, like, having a team to recruit, I kind of, at this point in the game, I would prefer just to have one person that I could, like, customize a bit more with, like, their like, skills and shit. Sent request. Nice one, sweet. Played a little. Okay, fair, fair. Well, these really look like mansions, even, do they? Yeah, so Watch Dogs 2 was based in San Francisco. That one I really enjoyed. It was quite like it was quite over the top. The first one was like really gritty, and that one was like quite silly. I enjoyed the silliness of it. And it's kind of where you live. Nice, fucking A. Yeah, there's definitely an element of like when you play a game and they do like your local areas, like areas you like kind of know, and they do it fairly good. There's always that extra love for it. Apart from these goddamn missions where I just got to fly around and hopefully randomly find these goddamn mansions. Whilst all these cars are just going insane. Oh. Huh. Right. Where's Warren Street? It's going to be close, I'm imagining. Or is it? No idea where Warren Street actually is. Let's go do another mission for now, because chances are we'll just drive past them. But if I see people protesting like an empty building, I'll just be like, cool, that must be the one we're going for. Yeah. Lunch Crescent, Gage Street, Eastern, Holborn, Garland, Viaduct, Farringdon, Angel, King's Cross. Oh, there's Warren Street, so west of Warren Street. Actually, let's go try this first. Yeah. It's accurate, right? Yeah, it's cool. Like, Venom was cool for that reason as well. Oh, was that done in San Francisco? Nice.
People, not machines! People, not machines!
See, with
Down with Albion!
with London stuff, they generally now, they'll either do, like, literally by, like, London Bridge kind of thing, or, like, London Bridge, or Waterloo around there, or it'll just be, like, back alley griminess, like, although there's probably shitloads of films made in England, London, just a lot of them are shit. Oh yeah, I need to be looking for protesters. The best way to look for protesters is in a car. I'd have to steal it. I'm gonna have to steal this. That's your own fault. Let's turn some of the music off. Okay. Keep her out for homeless people.
Welcome back to The Upload. In this episode, we're talking about CTOS 3.0, the city operating system that's now powering all of London. For those of you who need reminding, as if anyone does at this point, CTOS was first used in Chicago in 2014 and then San Francisco in 2017 before coming here
Oh,
to
they're talking about the
London.
previous games, I
And
think.
every time it's been rolled out, it's been pretty much an unmitigated disaster.
Ah, I think there is.
Of you who are listening who are lucky enough not to be here.
More protesters? We should investigate.
Sweet. Okay, cool, cool. Blaze up. Straight up. Be line for blows bigger box. Yeah, shut it, you slag. I think that guy's talking to the rain now. This isn't the one I need. Oh, is it? Or is it? I don't think it is. Oh, no, it is. Sweet. I thought I had to smash through there.
What have we got, Bagley?
Yet another shell company. Blimey, this is like looking through a mermaid's lingerie drawer.
Right, thanks.
Diego,
If I cause more issues, then does the news people turn up quicker? Oh, that was a big hit. Chase drone, delivery drone, right drone, chase drone, delivery drone, counter-terrorism, backwards flying car. Oh, get him! And no worries, Fly Dude. It was lovely having you come by. Thank you very much. Oh, I don't have to take a picture of... Oh no, I haven't... I changed missions, didn't I? So I can't actually see what I was doing on this one. But yeah, it was lovely having you. And yeah, I'll go onto my actual like Ubisoft Connect thing and like accept from requests in a wee bit. Yeah. No idea if I'll ever go on the online thing, but we can always give it a try at some point if not. Yeah, have a dope night, man. And thank you again for the follow. Keep going.
Everything that Bloom sees from your movements around the system
Just need the news drone.
is collected and feeds back into its big information control system.
Oh, not you and Bloom and Privacy again.
Oh shit, trying to fight now. He's getting angry. Oh, there's so little news drones. Instead of just like no news here. Oh, hello. You're what I want.
Targets are in view.
Okay, cool. So I do just need to find one more. So part of me is like, I might as well go back and find that one now. So they said between St. James's and Horseferry, which is here, and then they said one just south. And we found one like south of here. So we found one like here, which could be between those two or south of there. Maybe we'll go to St. James's and reverse round.
In today's world, we've all had to get used to every move being tracked by the optic on our temples, like the cameras around.
Why don't you take the optics off your temples if you're annoyed about them tracking you?
Seems like everything we do feeds the big data beast. Why are data giants like Bloom so hungry to hold our private information?
Why are these people driving the wrong way down a one-way street? Silly buggers.
Ever have real private lives again? What is privacy in the digital world? And
what is privacy, you know?
what happens when capitalism and surveillance become one? As you know, we keep all confidential.
Oh, 5-0.
Speaking from a secure location, here's the technology.
That's another protest right there.
Hey, here we go.
Worth
Sweet.
checking out. It could be another one of two saints.
Okay. Kenobi. Do you want to see some bollocks? There you go, I'll send some in a picture. Oh wait, I can talk to her?
Really? Oh, shit's seared in my brain now.
Good, right?
You look like you're eager to fight the powers that be.
Funny, I was about to say the same thing. I'm looking for someone who can get to difficult places. Is that you?
No.
Depends on the place. What are you thinking?
There's a file at these coordinates. Get your hands on it, we'll talk more then.
Did I start a recruitment thing? I don't want to recruit you. Or are you genuinely just helping?
Are you always such an idiot?
Yeah, sadly, yeah. It's not something I can control. Hiya! Oh, hiya! Wait, what? Break through! Why can't I break through here? Hiya, yeah, yeah! Oh, go this way. I'll put my gun away, actually. Guns scare people. Oh, Spiderbot, how you doing, fam? I'm out here, I might as well keep climbing. Maybe I need the spider bot after all, actually. Way over there. Alright. Go on, Neil Desiro. You got this. Oh, got him. Why the hell did he fly over there for a second? Okay. Now we're ready to take on the world. Ooh.
Retrieved another deed, and it belongs to another shell
You've
company.
retrieved another deed, hey? Wasn't me, was it? No. Oh shit. The fuck happened there? Jesus Christ. Yeah, hopefully the news will turn up because of all this. Oh, damn. Oh, that's a news drone. Sweet.
Targets are in view.
Got a nice picture of me in an exploding car in that one.
I was able to find a similarity between all the shell companies that own
Hey,
the
my car blew
properties
up.
we've been photographing.
Tell me, Bagley.
They all list Samuel Toussaint as majority shareholder.
Bingo. We've got him now.
All right, DedSec. I just read through your upload. It was mint, really. I have some good feedback as well.
Go on.
Toussaint's got his eye on the presidency, so he's looking to up his global presence. He's coming to Buckingham Palace to meet with the Crown. If we can warn the royals not to meet with this twat, it'll be a big win for...
Infiltrate Buckingham Palace Mews.
404.
Good thing we've got more
That's
than
the
enough
Buckingham
evidence.
Palace
Toussaint
cats.
isn't fit to whiff royal farts.
Auto drive now enabled.
As you might imagine, the royal palace is about as secure as, well, a royal palace. But the network at Buckingham Palace Mews is marginally weaker. Try that. If we can hack the CTOS at Buckingham Palace Mews, I should be able to peep inside the stateroom where the meeting is to take place.
Technologies in
Okay.
foreign
Auto drive now disabled.
that have been used are things like heat map features which show where populations are gathering. In-game rewards can be offered to people.
that's where I want it to be.
Routes, things like that. Traffic data can be manipulated.
I'm sending you the key to my car. Look after it.
Toussaint will have submitted his credentials in advance of the meeting. I can attach our evidence to the end of that file, and then we can watch him march confidently in and essentially announce himself a gigantic fuckhead. Not the most efficient approach, but definitely the funniest.
Message received.
Control, I'm starting a search. Someone's hacked a vehicle.
Oh my god.
We have an erratic vehicle. Initiate lockdown. Let's lock down this vehicle, just to be safe. I want this hacker found.
Fuck it. Let's just do this the old-fashioned way. There's hostiles in my area? Oh, sweet. I thought it was just like single women. Oh, maybe that's what. Maybe they're the hostile ones. Uh-oh.
Suspect is unsighted, sweeping area.
Okay, cool. Hey, how you doing? What's the thing I need to hack? Oh, in this room. Aha. Why would you leave the key? Oh, she's having a shower. I guess put the key on the side. That makes sense. Alright. Nice, nice. And where we go? Sounds like a lovely song you've requested there, Rynan.
Upload complete. Now scarf her or they'll kill you for sure.
Scar!
Now the diplomatic corps won't touch Toussaint with a 10-foot engraved ceremonial pole being held by somebody else. I made sure to leave a little explanatory note with DedSec's logo so everyone knows who to thank.
Fucking
Auto
excellent.
drive now enabled. That contract has been extended so many times. It's like the neck of a politician that's criticised the government.
I'm not sure. That Toussaint thing, we got your back.
Don't follow me.
Good. That's an international
DedSec.
win on our hands. I'm sending all our evidence to a mate in SIRS. He's one of the good ones.
Fantastic. Good work, team.
But still,
GG team.
A record low, although I imagine that probably depends exactly how you count it. If you include violent crime committed by the...
Okay, so... let's go see what the Harmish wants. Okay.
Time to end the fascist occupation of London! Now!
What do you got against the fascists? You need to be more, open, dude. You know.
This is where that journalist mysteriously vanished while she was looking into SIRS mysteriously vanishing people.
Oh shit.
We should check it out. Might find something useful.
I thought we might be able to get ahead of those Stasi wannabes at SIRS, but I'm seeing signs of a struggle. I've tagged a few pieces of evidence that I can analyze more closely if you get me some high-resolution stills.
Can my spider take pictures? Listen up, man. See ya. Oh my god, they got another spider?
Oh, that's it. I'm calling it quits.
Well, time to shoot. You don't take down my spider without me coming to get you, you know?
Lost them. It's all over. Let's make this quick, all right?
It's not coming back. We're clear.
Okay. I like how when you tell something to portray it, it's like, oh yeah, that guy? They must be hating you, right? No. You said corner. I'm gonna hack this car. Oh, fuck me. Alright, calm down, calm down. Okay, let's see if we can get F2 to work here. Nope. Really? So I've got to call in a news drone every time I want to do this shit? So that's a kind of annoying thing with this though, because like I have somebody who has summon a news drone, but they're crap for everything else. Stream raid battle is ready, guys, so let's get on the fun, I guess. Okay, let's do stream raiders and then I'll try and find a news drone. Yeah. So we are going for a 1 skull. It's 4 of us with 13 troops. That's pretty good. I'm gonna do Killing Field again. It's a nice fun one for the whole family. Let's go. Nice, nice. What's this about? Oh, we weren't meant to destroy that? Beautiful. Oh, that was easy. Good stuff, guys. And Iron wins those coins. Lovely. So, next one is 2 skull. So this will be twice as hard. Yeah. That's math. So, I can't put Flame Rogue all that down. So now we just go for whatever. I'm going to go Berserker. Because he's a fucking nutter. Alright, so get your troops out, guys. Yeah. And have we done any of these yet? We have. Sweet. Bronze Cyber tank skin. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Back to it. Should have a save whilst we're here. Oh, that wasn't even a news drone. Oh, I didn't explode. Bullshit. Who's shooting who? Not my dude being shot, right? Oh, yes, the drone I hacked, wasn't it? More than likely. Where's the news, man? Why doesn't the news care about anything anymore? They maybe have cameras? Maybe I should just get the lady that I know has it. Idiot. Sometimes I swear the news drones just appear sometimes. Range shit. Just give me a goddamn news drone. This is Art Attack. I'm just going to summon my person who can get news drones. This has taken ages. Was it you? It was you. This would probably been the smartest thing to do all along, but...
DedSec needs you on something.
Almost thought you forgot me.
This is where that journalist mysteriously vanished while she was looking into SIRS mysteriously vanishing people.
We should look into it.
I thought we might be able to get ahead of those Stasi wannabes at SIRS, but I'm seeing signs of a struggle. I've tagged a few pieces of evidence that I can analyze more closely if you get me some high-resolution stills.
What do you want? I'm photographing the evidence. Oh, target in view before. There we go. Nope.
A notepad file is open. Looks like a journalist's. I've added a transcript to your data drive. We know she was here at least.
Thanks, Bags.
Does that count? It did. Sweet.
Someone spray painted the security cameras. It looks like there's something in tire tracks, left relatively recently. 24.9-inch diameter. Common size for a large chassis vehicle like a truck or a van.
Damn. What now?
Oh, calm down. Did you think I had you take all those photos from my invite feed?
Yep.
If you find the CTOS hub, I can cross-reference the stills you took with the security feed and isolate the moments before the journalist was taken. It may contain a clue.
Read you loud and clear.
Let's get these cars out of the way. They're nothing but a nuisance. This probably can't do what I want it to do here, can it? I probably need to get my spider out for it. Whoa. Nonetheless, we'll have a little shot. No. And we'll get rid of it. What just disconnected? What just happened there? What? Why? What just happened? It's like my PC just stopped recognizing my mouse and keyboard for a second. Yeah, I just want to edit her so she can use Spidey. Thought that was your side for a second. Yeah, right. I hate how all like the Windows alert noises sound exactly the same. There probably is a way to change them. I just never been bothered. Although I thought my desktop noises are usually turned off when I'm streaming.
Here is the image just as the camera was blacked out.
Oh, you playing it? Oh, fucking A.
The partial license plate number indicates this is a government vehicle.
You say huge. What? How big? Like in comparison? Can I do this? Oh no, no, no! Stay on it. Stay on it. Oh, and I turned it off by accident. That was the issue. Oh, and I keep jumping up.
This confirms
Well,
the
why is
journalist
it-
was most likely abducted by SIRS. You know who might know where an SIRS operative would take a questionably legally detained journalist?
I can bring
Another
it back.
SIRS
Shit.
operative.
Oh,
I've got
and to
Malcolm
fly it
behind.
around. Could you imagine a spider flying on top of like a metal butterfly? It's the most dangerous thing in the world. Like almost
Then
twice as
again,
big as Mario thing. Damn. Okay.
Auto drive now enabled.
Is it still just like 10 people lobby?
Closely at the paint in the
Auto
security
drive now
still.
disabled.
It's not commercial. That's Kark paint. Chemical resistant. Military. Do you remember earlier when you saved me from Albion?
Fuck you!
Oh, come on, that was fun. Anyway, I didn't want the day to be a waste, so I installed a worm in their comms equipment that fed me, among other things, data on their supply requisitions. I just gave Bagley access to it.
Looks like Albion just ordered a crate of Kark paint in that colour to the Albion Internment Centre. Pushing the coordinates now.
I pushed a taxi
1
technically.
year ago, 3 undocumented youths were beaten to death.
Rescued a
on
missing
high street.
journalist. Man, have to do everything, don't we? Bloody hell. So also lots of new tasks and a ladder. Okay. Wait, is it in different floors? And a moving platform. Right. And you have hands? Wow. They'd really been taken into. They really like didn't listen to Carl's comments about the whole no hands thing, right?
Auto drive now enabled.
Guess they answered the answer with I'd rather have hands. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably jump on. I'll probably do like 1 or 2 more missions on here, and then like go to a break, and then I'll probably jump on with you guys after that. If people are playing it by then. If you're playing it already, maybe. You might already be playing it. I think you guys were going to meet by like 7, right? Okay, let's switch person, because she will die. And a moving platform. I think I read that, but it only just really took into my mind. What climate it is, at least.
Don't get killed.
I'm guessing it's probably, if anything, maybe a little easier for imposters to get away with it, as long as people aren't grouping up together. Like, because it could be ages before you find anybody, I guess, if it's like that huge. But I guess like everyone will start new strategies on it, kind of thing. I guess anyway. So. Oh, actually, no, that's not what I was thinking it was. Huh. Right, let's turn that up for a little moment. I'm gonna friendly shoot that man in the head. He doesn't mind. We're friends. I just told you guys that. So.
This is the Albion Internment Center. That journalist who was investigating the SIRS illegal kidnapping program should be inside.
Should be. Trying to see if there's anything to explode that man with. In a violent way, not a sexual way. Quite a few people in there. I think we might as well just go in guns blazing, right? Let's just attract that dude to that a moment, so he dies. You can hide in the toilets? Oh shit. Phasmophobia meets Among Us. Go on, just go look at it. It's not like it's going to kill you. Did you walk away from it? What a turd. Go and blazing squad. Good shout. Oh, actually, ooh, hello. You heard that. Go check it out. The Golden Skull King commands it. If you don't go check it out, I'm going to shoot you in the head. How about... Oh, fine, fine. I made that decision instantly once I said that, right? Goddamn piece of shit. Actually, I'm going to creep on him. I'm going to do a takedown. I never do takedowns. This is what you get. This is what you get. And now your family will never find you. To be fair, they might not want to. I don't really know their relationships. Alright. No, I don't want you to hide there. In fact, hide here. Oh, and pick that up. Sweet, nice. Cushy. I'll kill him quick. And then Spidey time. Go hide my murder, please, quickly, Spiderbot. Thank you. Little rascal. See you at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. See you at the crossroads. That's Blazing Squads, right? My favourite type of body trap is the arm trap. Watch what this arm trap does. Bollocks, I didn't want to go that far away. We missed what happened because I went too far away.
Standard quadrant search. Go.
Standard? You should do the special squadron search for us, because you'll never find us. Nope. Where's the actual red line thing? Is it lower down? I thought it was up here that it went to. Oh, right there, okay. No, just let me do this, let me do this, let me do this. Alright. Now we're good, now we're good. Like penises, hey. Psst. Follow me if you want to die.
Oh. Right, get her out.
No shit, Sherlock. What do you think I'm doing, Bagley? Yeah, man. Yep. Your allergy to bullets finally got you. Fuck it. We'll leave them be. Run! Stop crouching and just run.
I don't see anyone following you.
That's the same thing Fizzle said to me to make me follow. And it worked. Oh yeah. Still keep crouching, you bitch. Huh. Oh, I've got to talk to the journalist. I suppose that makes sense. You don't want to talk outside of the area you were just kidnapped to, though? No? Fucking journalist. Come on then. Let's have this conversation. Make it smart.
Thanks for your help and everything,
Sure.
but we have to keep this short.
Right.
If I can't get out of this country tonight,
Okay.
I am colossally buggered.
Oh well.
Well, I'm with DedSec. How can we
Yeah,
help?
we're not pilots.
All
I'm
right,
not British
then.
Airways.
Maybe you can help. You see, SIRS found a legal loophole that's let them arrest you for anything they want.
Even murder?
Did your butler's beagle have its hair cut by the same groomer as one of the tone bombers?
I can.
Well, then SIRS can
think I
arrest
can
you
say
without a
from
warrant, and the Snoopers Charter makes it legal.
Quite a lot of confidence we don't have
can they
pilots.
do that?
Ever since
We live in a
CTOS,
train station
SIRS
worse
has
than the Teenage
full
Mutant Ninja
access to
Turtle one. So
every email, every phone
although
call,
that one
every
was quite badass, so
CCTV
it's
stream,
not hard to be
everything.
better than it, I guess.
When you give over that level of information to the government, the question isn't how could they do it, it's how could they not?
SIRS is a disgrace to public service.
I did not.
This is an address. Someone will meet you later with a clean passport. Should help you get out of their grasp for a while.
It's actually not going to be clean. I'm going to poop in a little bit of it. Only a little bit of poop, so it can't really be seen, so it can be smelled, you know. And then everyone's going to go, why's your passport smell of poop?
Once the journalist makes it to
I don't know.
safety, I'll make DedSec resources
Should just think that
available to her so
she
she can
doesn't
finish
wipe
her
properly all
story.
of a sudden.
Sounds good, Bagley.
That taxi doesn't belong there. That's not a road. That's definitely better. Did I just kill the journalist? Oh no, that might be her. Yeah, journalist is alive. Don't worry about it. All good. Oh! That was close. Oh shit. That one exploded. Right, so let's go to the next mission. Why is it showing team people? Did I accidentally try and recruit someone? Oh yeah, her. I don't want you. Get the fuck out of here. You stupid hat. Okay. Oh, let's say that I need to be doing the thing. Cool, cool. Oh. Okay, so let's go do this Albion mission. Which is all the way down in Wapping. You're right. That's not a toilet. You shouldn't be throwing up in that. Oh no, actually, to be fair, it says organic waste, so... I mean, Chunder is organic waste to the highest level. Oh my god, your hand. To the highest level. So yeah, if you're going to throw up, I guess you are meant to throw up in that one. Is that how bad London's got? We have bins to throw up in. General waste is when you just put, you know, you chopped up a human being that's a bit of a waste man. You just shove them through there. Otherwise you throw up in there, I guess. Cool. Well, keep at it. And here's a picture of my penis. Just to remember me by. I always like to drive them as far away as I can before I steal. Oh, I'm here. That was like the most perfect ghosting out of a car ever. Bogner?
This is the place.
Don't know why you'd learn to drive in Bogner. I think it's actually quite hilly.
Bad news from Hamish. His contact is running late. May as well make yourself comfortable.
Insider info. Oh shit, I know too much. Bollocks.
There's a special place in hell.
Special place in hell for people like you. Bogner. Again, Bogner. If it wasn't for the Butlins, you know. Thank you for the tin.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Now, what would I do with a thing like that, Bagley?
Who needs frontal
The
lobes?
attack occurred just as Albion CEO Nigel Cass was announcing a new
Everyone knows the
security
juice is in the trunk.
Our cameras captured video of the attack, which some viewers may find disturbing.
Ooh, shit, okay, everyone pay
Well, their
attention.
tireless work. We couldn't have rolled out these checkpoints. Watch out!
Oh shit.
43C.
Michael Bay's here.
Engage contact right. Aimed fire. Aimed fire.
Aimed fire? Opposed to just general spray and pray?
Government officials have yet to issue a statement, but Cass had this to say.
An attack on me and my men is one thing. We're trained to handle these monsters. But I will not abide civilian casualties. This city deserves peace. And I promise you, London, we carry on as we are, these attacks will continue. But we don't need to live like this.
Yeah,
Scared
we should
to
leave
leave
to
our homes.
Brazil.
Criminals.
It's nice and chilled out, you know.
Terrorists like these.
No terrorists or
Can be
anger or
stopped before they
militias.
even start.
Good stuff.
And I have a plan to do just that. Your police and politicians may have stopped fighting for you, but I will never stop.
Wow, he's such a good guy, man. I'm glad he's around.
Talking about.
Yeah, you know.
Cass ought to be in charge of things.
The hell he should. He's just another greedy bastard.
Nigel Cass is the only one who gives a fuck about this city.
Twat.
Oi, break it up.
No, fucking have him. Fucking have him.
Unbelievable. Bloody unbelievable.
Fucking hell. Tell me you lot met with my contact and he had nothing to do with this.
Your man never showed up, Hamish. But come on, this was a show. It has Cass written all over it.
Yeah, right.
It's all too convenient not to be. But we'll know for sure if we investigate the attack site.
No, you don't get it, fam. Radu's been seriously unbalanced lately. Talking
no.
all sorts of rubbish about
Is it?
someone having to stop Cass,
Venus.
no matter
Okay.
the cost.
Timing's too pat. Cass announces this new security initiative and then he's attacked in public.
Auto drive now
No
enabled.
way.
Hope you're right. And it's not Radu gone off the deep end.
Whoa, what are you doing? Now you lose that bike. And this one too.
Find them!
Investigate the attack site. Finsbury Circus, Gardens. Oh no. More gates, really good if you like more gates. But if you like lots of gates, you're actually gonna be quite disappointed. Quickly, your parcel should have been delivered 12 minutes ago, and you should turn nowhere. Stay there. Get that out of the way. Get that out the way. I saw it too. I saw it too. I won't snitch. Sweet, one down.
Let's lock down that vehicle.
There's an intruder! Sniff them out! Drone, spread out.
Who could it be?
Search.
Clear.
That's obviously not normal. Find who's doing this.
Okay.
Shut that down.
I'm going to shoot this person in the head because I've heard that's their kink. Why would you bring a baton to a
This
gunfight?
is the site where Nigel Cass was attacked, but surprise, surprise, his personal goon squad has already scrubbed the area for evidence.
This is supposed to be a crime scene. Why scrub it clean so quickly? Something's wrong here.
Yes, if you search for clues, I may be able to reconstruct the attack in augmented
Oh, I'd
reality.
actually already armed that shit.
You do come in handy, Bagley.
There is a CTOS data relay nearby. That will have the data I need.
Copy that.
Okay, I'll copy that. Oh, it's actually around there. I thought it was going to be this one. Oh shit. People alive? Not no more.
Drone, initiate search.
Quadrant clear. Moving to assist.
That sounded loud. There's quite a few of them over there.
That person has a gun.
What person? You don't know me.
All clear over here.
Just the king, don't worry about it.
That should do it. Go back to the location of the incident to view the reconstruction.
Just gotta do this shit.
We have updated our terrorism threat level to severe.
Oh shit. That sounds pretty severe.
Check your doors and corners. Good God!
Is that a euphemism?
Someone's down! Gun!
Fuck. Okay, now we've murdered everybody, it makes it much easier to do this next bit. Every locked door is a swipe card, really? God damn. Okay, this could be savage. Oh, hello. Okay. Okay, so it's a supercar. I get
This
it.
does look like pro-terrorism, in the sense
Oh.
that it's both professional and in favour of terrorism.
It was Mario, maybe.
Interesting. I'll take a look around.
Alright, what about this? That was a human being with a gun. Did they shot the car? Dumbass.
Searching facial recognition databases, and here he is, Radu Florin, an Albion employee in good standing, until he tried to drive an exploding truck into his boss.
Yeah, that will get you in bad trouble with the boss.
Fam, that's the bloke put me on the Themis. My
get him
contact
for you.
inside Albion.
Got him.
That means this wasn't some orchestrated power play. Someone actually tried to kill Cass.
What the fuck did he find to make him desperate enough to do this?
Poop shots.
Roll it, Bugs.
Look at that. Albion trucks with black boxes on the undercarriage, just like aeroplanes. I can track down the black box, which should lead us to the truck's current location.
Check the plates while you're at it.
Of course. I'll also monitor Albion communications and 1,000 other little things you would appreciate.
You better.
Looks like a disgruntled employee situation. Cass did
I'm
something
gonna go
to
back up this
seriously
way.
piss this guy off.
If there's mutiny afoot in Albion, we could spin that to our advantage. Let's start investigating the truck.
Oh, okay. Just gonna leave the area for now. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you been?
According to Albion radio chatter, they've moved the truck to the Tone bombing site. And here's something even stranger. They've moved Radu Florin's body along with it.
The Tone site. Why would they do that?
Albion has been coordinating
You can see it quite
recovery
easy from
efforts at the
imposters,
site,
yeah.
which is rather vague.
It's a dumping ground, innit?
Hopefully the mods will be brought up to date with
like
it fairly
to
soon, because that one could be a really good one for
find the truck, we
getting a
find
bit
right
more
there.
like rolls on for like the crewmates. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is a friend of mine. He's not. Never once sent me a birthday card. Or a birthday hat. Let's go St. Paul's.
No moving for the scan. Piss off, mate. You need to learn some respect.
This is my bike. There are many like it, but this is my bike. Whoa. Excuse me, this is my turn. I said excuse me.
For God's sake.
Right, now no one gets a vehicle. Oh shit. That was Fuss's fault.
I'm at the Tone site. Now, are you sure the Finsbury truck was delivered here?
That's right, but what we don't know is why they brought it
That's
here.
how you stop
I'll
in
take a
ice
look
skating.
around.
It also works for motorbikes. Hey, and that's how you do, my man. Do 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 do. So let's bring us over here, have a little fly, and I'll drop this on some people. Right, there we go. Betray your masters. Christ I suppose. Get him.
I'm putting a stop to this.
What do you mean you're putting a stop to this? Don't even look at me.
Suspect is hit.
Drone deployed!
Spider drone, spider drone. Fuck you up. Shit, spider drone. Uh-oh. Well, that happens quickly. Holy fuck, holy fuck. Me too. Oh, I'm alive. Please don't. You're just too high up to be shooting me. That's an illegal move, right?
Which one?
Where was it? Excuse me, I'm reloading. This is janky. Stream Raiders is ready. We'll do that in just a moment. Oh, that's actually above my head. Oh wow, he's going quick. Oh no! Thank you for announcing you were over there though. If he hadn't said you're done, my friends, I probably would have been. He could have just crept and got me, you know? Okay. I'm meant to be doing something with this. Just search for evidence, eh? I got caught up in the murder. But to my defense, it was murder. Who wouldn't get caught up in it?
This is the truck used in the Finsbury attack. I have a VIN and plate match. The dash cam is a shambles, but the local cameras picked up some audio. Worth a listen.
Sure, let's go for it. Fuck.
Jesus, he's pretty burnt up. Happens when your truck explodes. Fuck! I used to see him around R&D. Did you know him? Hell no. But even if I did, I wouldn't fucking talk about it. Know what I mean?
I'm detecting several optics nearby with no life signs connected. That's where we should look for the driver's body.
Okay.
Moving in.
Killed most people around here, so it should all be a bit easier now, hopefully. Murder is very Moorish, yeah, it's quite like crack. Okay. Is this the body we're looking for?
Whoever this is, they died long ago. No way this is the attacker.
Yes, from the state of decay, I'd say this person died, right around the tone bombing. So that's one mystery solved.
Cool. Mysteries are fun. One drone, please. You could just, not kill me for a bit. No, get up there, please. Can I just disable these? I think I can, right? Like permanently. I don't know if I can do it permanently. Let's just search for a dead body quick. The giant drones are hilarious. The fact you can just fly them anywhere is great.
It might be him. Severely burned. Looks recent too.
There's a lump of damaged metal in his noggin that might once have been an optic.
But you can handle that amount of damage, right?
I'm pulling everything down from his cloud storage now. I recommend escaping from the premises.
Using a
I'm only leaving because I've got shit to do. I'm not escaping anything.
Disturbing,
I'm
but
scared of
clever.
no
If you
people.
consider that new bodies are constantly being unearthed from the Tone wreckage, they can kill anyone they want and get away with it. I've decrypted an audio file recovered from the attacker's
We've killed
body.
so many people
Shall
in
I
this
play
game
it?
and we've got away with it,
You're
so...
clear to go, Bagley.
He's launched them. They're waiting up there and no one knows. People think he'll keep them safe, but that's not what he wants. He wants control. He sent them up there to watch us. And worse,
Get him.
he called them Justice Themis drones. What a cruel joke. The project was dead, but he has the team.
Is there any old vehicles around you can't hack? No, there isn't actually. Like, although there is some cars that are like still, I think they're still meant to be like petrol cars rather than electric. Like, you can still seem to hack them. I think there was a mission where like they said something about it, like you couldn't, but you can.
It doesn't.
Either that or you just don't find any of those old cars. It'd be cool if there was proper junkers, like proper like yeah, proper like banger racer type shit. That'd be sick. Fight, 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 fight.
Chance to stop something terrible from happening by killing someone. Wouldn't you do it? Something truly horrible.
I think the drone's going to have this one. The turret's looking weak.
I love you.
Well, shit. All those Themis drones above us are just a single system update away from murder.
Might take months.
So if we get higher than the
Cass could
drones,
get the project back on
that's
its
what I
legs.
take from what I just heard.
Unless we destroy the drones themselves.
This is the tape, by the way.
Boy, the Themis data we wiped at Titus. Any chance you remember enough to retro-engineer a more suitable upgrade?
I'll do you one better. I can code a virus from the data itself.
Are you serious, Bagley? Why the fuck would you keep the project data?
I asked him to. No sense in just flushing data. Never know what might come in handy or what you might learn. So, how do we use it to infect the drones?
Albion's got a primary communications hub at Tower Bridge. Upload the virus
Perfect
there, fam,
place to hide.
and all the
It
drones
just
get
looked
a
like
dose.
looks like the Queen's wearing a
Let's get this
necklace.
done.
A really weird necklace. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so we're going to save it there, go to a break, and then if people are on Among Us, I will be jumping in with them. If there's space. Yeah, before we get off the game,